Thank you for this opportunity, and I will explain about my material about empirical probability. Introduction: the empirical probability has or relative frequency is the second type of objective probability. It is based on the number of the times an event occurs as a proportion of a known number of trials. As we see, empirical probability, the probability of an event happening in this fraction of the time similar event happened in the past. In terms of the formula, empirical probability equals numbers of times the event occurs divided total numbers of observation. And the empirical approach to probability is based on what is called the law of large number. The key of stabilizing the probabilities empirically is that more observation will provide a more accurate estimate of the probability. And next, the law of large number. Over a large number of trials, the empirical probability of event will approach its true probability. To explain the law of large numbers, suppose we toss a fair coin and the result of each toss is either a head or a tail. With just one toss of the coin, the empirical probability for heads is either 0 or 1. If we toss the coin a greater numbers of times, the probability of the outcomes of heads will approach. The following tables reports the results of the experiments or flip a fair coin: 1, 10, 50, 100, 500, 1000, and 10,000 times, and then compute the relative frequency of heads. Note, as we increase the number of trials, the empirical probability of head appearing approach 5, which is value based on the classical approach to probability. And this is the number of trials, number of heads, and relative frequency of heads: 1, 10, 50, 100, 500, 1000, and 10,000. And number of heads: 0, 3, 26, 52, 200, 2, 3, 6, 4, 9, 4, and 5, 0, 2, 7. And the relative frequency of heads is 0.00, 0.30, 0.52, 0.52, 0.472, 0.494, and 0.5027. Next, what have we demonstrated? Based on the classical definition of probability, the likelihood of obtaining a head of a single toss of fair coin is 5. Based on the empirical or relative frequency approach to probability, the probability of the event happening approach the same value based on the classical definition of probability. This reasoning allows us to use the empirical or relative frequency approach to finding a probability. And here are some examples. This is the example. The last semester, 80 students registered for Business Statistics 101 at Scandia University, and 12 students earned A grades. Based on this information and the empirical approach to assigning a probability, we estimate the likelihood a student will earn A is 15. The next, the Kobe Bryant of the Los Angeles Lakers made 403 out of 491 free throws attempts during the 2009 to 2010 NBA season. Based on the empirical rule of probability, the likelihood of him making his next free throw attempt is 8 to 1. And the life assurance companies rely on past data of determine the acceptability of an applicant as well as the premium to be charged. And the mortality tables list the likelihood a person of particular age will die within an upcoming year. For example, the likelihood a 20 years old female will die within the next year is 0.00105. And the empirical concept is illustrated within the following example. The example 1 is on February 1, 2003, the space shuttle of Columbia exploded. This was the second disaster in the 113 space mission from NASA. On the basis of this information, what is the probability that the future mission is successfully completed? The solution? To simplify, letters or numbers may be used. The P stands for probability. And in this case, P A stands for a probability a future mission is successfully completed. And the formula about the probability of successful flight equals number of successful flight divided total number of flight. And to simplify, the letters of number may be used. So the P stands for probability, and the case P A stands for probability of future mission is successfully complete. And the PA equals 111 divided 113 equals 0.98. So this to simplify, the letters or numbers may be used. In this case, the stance of the probability of future mission as successfully completed. We can use this as estimate of probability. In other words, based on the experience, the probability is 0.98 that a future space shuttle mission will be safely completed. And this is the example of empirical probability. All the letters and to simplify, the numbers may be used. Next example, in a given week, our vet traded all the following animals of empirical probability and find the empirical probability according for this one. We have some stats about dog is 50, we traded 35 cats, 8 bird, and 2 reptile. And the mean the constant of the 5 probability, the next remain constant, find the probability the next animal seen, a dog, bird, and reptile. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to take this frequency divided by the total amount seen, or equals the successes over the total for the total amount. So the first thing that I want you to find the sum this column, and we'll take the 50 plus 38 will give me 85 and another 10. So this the total we end up the 95. So the next one I want to find the probability that we have dog as, and either of the dog, the capital letter in there, but just going to say the probability dog being seen. So during this week was 50 dogs during the week out of 85 total. So the answer is 50 divided by 8 divided by 95 total. And there's a lot of different ways over the most time. So 95 reduce 10 over 19 over 19. So the acceptable answer sometimes you'll say around 3 decimals, around 0.526 or 52.6%. So the probability was the dog. The next, the bird was elected with the word egg out. The egg out of over 9.5, 9.5, 9.5, and the wanted to write the decimal approximation. The would just do 0.084 or 8.4%, and this is the for the bird. And next is the reptile. So reptile, at least among seen, we would check out 2 over 95. 95 will give the plan 0 of 2.1%. So with this, this the approximation, the point 0.21 or 2.1%. This is the according for the event happening of this decimal frequency table, and find the sum of frequency according of the dog, cat, bird, and reptile among 50, 30, 35, 8, and 2. And this is the example of the empirical probability in given a week are fed-traded on the following animals. And according to the formula, if the probability of selected animal remains constant and the probability the animal sings, a dog is equals 50, 50 over 95 equals 10 over 19. So the equals is 0.526 or 52.6%. And this is related of the dog according to the mean constant, the probability empirical, the next animal seen. And next is the bird. The bird have equals 8 over 95, approximately 0.084 or 8.4%, and is the bird of the constant, the empirical probability frequency. And the next is a reptile. A reptile equals 2 over 95 approximately equals 0.021 or 21%. But this is traded following the animals: the dog, cat, bird, reptile. The dog is 2.6% and the bird is 8.4% and the reptile is 2.1%. And this is the example of empirical probability and frequency tables. Is all for me. Thank you.